She was returned because she was too big. That was the only reason. Molly was 8 years old. 8 years of waking up in the same house. Knowing the same smells, recognizing the same footsteps down the hall. She wasn't a dog of spectacular tricks or breathtaking talents. She simply wanted to be near the people she loved. That one quiet wish had carried her through every single day of her life. In a small town in central Illinois, the family Molly had always known began to struggle. The young children in the home and Molly weren't getting along well anymore, they said. And if you think about it from Molly's perspective, it makes a kind of heartbreaking sense. 8 years old is an age when you've already settled into your rhythms. The unpredictable movements of small children, the sudden noises, the ever-changing energy of a busy household. For Molly, each day had quietly become an accumulation of small confusions. She didn't know how to process. The family made a decision. And within the options they considered, there were darker ones. I always pause at this part of the story. Not to cast judgment, but because I think about how many homes are quietly living through this same moment right now. The ones who cannot speak have no choice but to wait for someone else to decide their fate. That's when someone reached out. Molly's groomer, a woman who had cared for Molly for years, who knew the particular way Molly held her head, who recognized the softness behind those dark, searching eyes. When she heard what was happening, she didn't hesitate. She volunteered with Effingham County Animal Control. And she called them immediately. Please take Molly. This is not a bad dog. This is a dog in the wrong environment. The shelter said yes. And so, in January of 2026, Molly walked into a place she had never known before. I've thought a lot about that first day. The unfamiliar smells, the sounds that didn't belong to anyone she recognized, the particular scent of home, the one she had known since she was young, was simply gone. I imagine she spent a long time looking toward the door, waiting, still believing, in the way that dogs do, that someone was coming back for her. But no one came. The staff at Effingham County Animal Control noticed it right away. Molly wasn't just frightened of a new place. She was a dog who had lost something she didn't have words for. Michelle Shute, the chief animal control warden, described it plainly. Molly had shut down emotionally. I have sat with that phrase for a long time. Shutting down emotionally. We do it too, don't we? When the pain becomes too much, something inside us quietly closes the door. We stop expecting. We stop reaching. Molly had done the same. But the staff refused to let her stay closed. They spent more time beside her. They took her on longer walks. Sometimes they simply sat with her in silence, offering nothing but presence. And slowly, with the patience of people who genuinely believe every animal deserves to be reached, Molly's tail began to move again. A warmth crept back into her eyes. She was learning, carefully and slowly, that human beings might still be worth trusting. And then, a few weeks later, a family came. The staff watched as Molly met them. Her tail wagged. She leaned into their hands. Her eyes lit with something that had been missing. Every person in that room exhaled. This is the one, they thought. Molly has finally found her place. She went home with her new family. I imagine Molly in that car, watching the world move past the window. Maybe thinking, in the wordless way that dogs think, that this time would be different. That this time, everything was going to be okay. People say dogs don't think that way. But before the second wound comes, hope is still allowed. 2 months later, Molly was back. The reasons were simple. Too big. Too much shedding. Too much barking. But that family had known all of this from the very first moment they met her. That body, that coat, that voice. They knew, and they brought her home anyway. They knew, and they brought her back anyway. I find myself asking what Molly did wrong. Nothing. She was simply being a Labrador. I'll be honest with you. This part of the story made me angry. But as I sat with that anger, I came to something quieter. Maybe this isn't the story of especially cruel people. Maybe it's the story of people who made a choice without fully imagining what lived on the other side of it, who didn't follow the weight of their decision all the way to its end. And Molly carried that weight in her body without ever understanding why. The staff was devastated, those who had been closest to Molly, who had walked beside her and waited with her and watched her slowly come back to life. To see it end this way. But they didn't let Molly see their grief. They went back to walking with her, back to sitting beside her, back to the beginning, waiting again for her heart to open one more time. I deeply respect these people. When something you have loved with everything you have comes back to you wounded, to rise from your own pain and simply remain present. I know how hard that is. I wanted their story told too. And at the end of that waiting, Lori and Eric arrived. This couple carried their own grief into the shelter that day. Nearly a year before, they had said goodbye to Sadie, their black Labrador, who had shared so many years of their lives. Eric had retired the previous fall. The two of them needed someone to walk slowly through the coming days beside them. A puppy's energy was not what they were looking for. They wanted to stay, not run. With that kind of open, unhurried heart, Eric one day came across Molly's photo on Facebook. She wasn't smiling in the photo. She wasn't posing. She was simply there, quiet, still. That image reached into Eric's chest and held something. He filled out the adoption application immediately. Lori and Eric were traveling when they saw her. They cut their trip short. They came home early. They went to meet Molly. The staff brought Molly out. And in that moment, everyone knew. Molly didn't hesitate. A dog who had been hurt twice walked toward them anyway. Her tail moved. She leaned against Lori. Lori says she felt it instantly. That there was something she couldn't put into words. That it was simply there, in that moment, undeniable. I heard this and felt something rise behind my eyes. A dog hurt twice opened her heart a third time. When we've been hurt, we become careful. When we've been hurt twice, we try to stop expecting anything at all. But Molly was different. Still believing. Still moving forward. Giving everything she had, one more time. That courage stayed with me for a long time afterward. A courage more pure than most I've seen in people. The staff saw it too. This one is different. What Molly was showing in her expression. And her body was unlike anything before. Not tension. Relief. Not guarding. Welcome. Molly went home with Lori and Eric. She didn't come back. Now Molly sleeps between them at night. She finds her place in the center of the bed, between Lori and Eric, and settles in. She carries her favorite stuffed animal through the house, moving slowly from room to room. The unfamiliar is becoming, little by little, hers. She's already had her first pup cup. She's felt the wind through an open car window. Later this year, they plan to travel together to Nashville to visit family. Lori's words have stayed with me. That Molly sometimes looks at them with a particular expression. Like she's asking whether she's really allowed to stay. Like she's already a little relieved, but not quite sure yet. Can I really be here? Are you really not going to leave? I have held that expression in my mind. And it didn't feel unfamiliar. We have all worn that face at some point in our lives. Standing at the edge of something new, stepping forward. Carefully, wondering quietly if we're allowed to take up space here. The more we've been hurt, the longer we stand at the door. Checking again and again before we let ourselves walk through. Molly's story is not just the story of one dog. It is the story of every living thing that was pushed aside, that waited, that stood back up anyway. And that finally found its place. It is the story of someone who knows what loneliness feels like. Who understands the weight of belonging, and who reached out one more time regardless. It may also be the story of someone listening to this right now. Somewhere in the world, there are stories like this everywhere. Small miracles happening quietly, in places where no one is watching. Stories where one person's giving up becomes another person's brand new beginning. I didn't want to let those stories pass by unseen. I wanted to keep looking, without looking away, at everything that manages to bloom even from abandoned places. This channel began because of that wanting. Because I believe that even on the days when the world feels cold, if one story like this stays somewhere in your heart, things can be just a little different. There is nothing quite like the soul of an old dog, Eric said. I believe those words hold the whole of this story. A being that has aged, that moves slowly, that carries its wounds, and that is still warm, still wanting to be close. That being has finally found its place. Molly is okay now. If you'd like to keep sharing stories like this one, stay close to this channel. Thank you for being here, and for letting these small lights find their way to you.